Hi, I'm Terry Luck, Director of Communications at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church here in Glenview. And today we have a special fireside chat. We're visiting with Father James L. Barrett. Now, in the last year, we've had a lot of wonderful celebrations here at OLPH. We had Father Jeremiah Boland's 40th anniversary, and we had Sister Paul Ann Held's 60th anniversary of teaching at the school, and now, coming up in May of this year, Father Jim, your 40th anniversary of your ordination. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Any particular thoughts you have on this occasion?
And I was reflecting, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, it's been quite a ride in that I have been very blessed these last 40 years to have so many different experiences. And I was talking to the 7th graders in religious ed last week and said, what's it like being a priest? And I said, well, I said, one of the big, and I don't know where, it was just that this really came to me. I said, I get to be with people from the time they're born, I baptize them, until the time I send them home at their funeral. And I said, I'm involved in the lives of people in very intimate and special ways in all the sacraments. And as I said, having been a priest for 40 years, I've been the celebrant for 6 of the 7 sacraments. I can't do the 7th because I'm not a bishop. Only bishops can ordain priests. But I said I've had the joy of celebrating all the sacraments with the people. And I think that was one of the things that really struck me. And it just came out when I was talking to the kids. And it was like, yeah, I've been there with people from the moment they're born, basically, until I send them home to the Lord.
And you still, obviously, on Easter Sunday, you had all the children gathered around you. You still love being around the little ones.
Oh, yes. You know what? When I was school principal, I would go in and throw the classrooms up for grabs and then leave. And one day I walked in, and I don't know if you want to put this in, but I walked into the kindergarten room, and the teacher said, I'm not in the mood today. If you throw the place up for grabs, they're going to be in your office in 5 minutes. So those are the kinds of things,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. Both your parents are from Ireland, correct?
Oh, yes. As I say, my parents were born in County Mayo, and I was born in County Cook.
Oh, okay. And you grew up in Hyde Park with a lot of siblings.
Well, yes. I was born when my first home was in Hyde Park. But I was 4 years old in a crib in the dining room, and my father and mother said it's time to get a bigger place. Then we moved to St. Leo Parish. This was St. Thomas the Apostle Parish, where I was baptized. And then we moved to St. Leo Parish in 1950, and I went to grade school there. And then in 1960, we moved to St. John Fisher, and I went to Brother Rice High School and graduated. I was the 5th graduating class in 1964. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I went to St. Mary's College in Winona, where I majored in English and minored in education.
And now you didn't become a priest right away. You became a teacher first.
No, from 68 to 73, I was a 6th and 7th grade teacher at St. Gerald in Oak Lawn. In 1973, I moved to North Riverside and became a teacher at Mater Christi School. And then in 1973 and 75, I became the principal. And it was a great experience. And it was during that time that I encountered 3 people who basically accused of messing up my life. Father Jerry Listecki, who is now the Archbishop of Milwaukee, Father Bob McLaughlin, who was a great young priest there, and Sister Marilyn Meisner. Well, one day I was kind of going on to a wake with Father now Archbishop Listecki, and he said, Jim, you should be a priest. And I said, oh, no way. So then I went to Father Bob McLaughlin and says, you know what Jerry said? And he said, you should be a priest. I said, no way. And then I went told Marilyn. She said, yeah, they're right. And as a result, I went for a ministry weekend at the seminary. And that was in 1977. And then I was accepted in the seminary, and I started my seminary training in 78.
So when you were growing up, you never really considered priesthood?
No. Well, when you were in 8th grade, Sister asked if you're going to go to Quigley.
Uh-huh.
I had no interest in going to Quigley. I wanted to be a teacher. And that's why I was kind of ticked at 3 of them, because I was very happy doing what I was doing. But they said, Jim, you have another role in life. So I said, I'll give it a try. I'll give the seminary a try.
And that was after you were principal, and then how did you break it to your students at the school?
Well, I had to tell them, the school board, because I had a 3-year contract and it was my second year. So I said, I need to break my contract. And they said, well, why? Well, I want to go to the seminary. And they said, fine. Yeah, so that's how. So I told the students, and they were very happy. In fact, the 8th grade students gave me a Bible with all their names.
Oh, no kidding. And
I still have that.
You still
in my
have it
office.
today?
Yeah, it was a great remembrance. I still see some of the kids I taught in North Riverside.
Is that right? Yeah. That's great. Wow.
In fact, a few of them were over for dinner back in January. So.
No kidding. Still to this day.
Still to this day. In fact, one of them lives in the parish.
Oh.
I can't get away from them. So.
Well, after you became a priest, then tell us about your ordination day. Any particular memories?
I just remember we usually have breakfast in our hall. We call it a cam. And I noticed all my siblings were there, but my mom and dad weren't there. I said, "Where's mom and dad?" So they're coming. Well, another guy came and says, "Your mom and dad are sitting in the chapel." They wanted to make sure they got the front row seat.
Oh.
And of course, what happens, it ends up on a calendar with Catholic Charities calendar 2 years later, with just the two of them sitting in the chapel as they're getting set up for ordination. So, it was a beautiful day. I have a big family, so the immediate family goes to dinner in the refectory, and then the rest go to the gymnasium. And it was just a beautiful, wonderful day. And all my siblings were there, and all my nieces and nephews were there. So
that is great.
It was a great day. And then it was Wednesday, my first Mass was on Saturday.
And you served in a lot of different parishes around the Chicago area and in the city and suburbs, right?
City and suburbs. Well, my first assignment was as a deacon at St. Anne Parish in Lansing, Illinois. And it was a great experience because it was I had a great house. Father Ed Harnett was the pastor at the time. Then my first assignment was at St. Luke in River Forest, and I was there for 3 years, and then I moved to St. Zachary in Des Plaines, and I was there for 5 years. After that, I was asked to go to Queen of All Saints in Sauganash, and I was there 5 years, and that was and then from there I became pastor of St. Joan of Arc in Skokie, Evanston. It's called Skevinston by those in the know. From there, I was pastor. Then I was there pastor for 10 years. Then went to St. Margaret Mary for 10 years as pastor, retired in 2016, moved to Uptown to help to staff a parish that was going to be no one living in the rectory. And during that time, I met a wonderful group of people. And then with that, I was, and I had some health issues, which was another story that was on my Lenten thing. And Father Boland asked me if I would live here because I would have people to live with. So I've been here since January of 2019. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so I've been all over the place.
Yeah. What's it like going to different parts of the city? Do you have to? Are parishioners the same, or do you have to adapt to the communities?
Each community was different. Each community was special. One of the things I learned when I was in Lansing is they don't read the Tribune. They get the local paper. Oh. So, I said, so that was kind of funny because I'm a Tribune type person. And then each parish has had its own challenges, but it's also had joys.
Yeah.
And I still have friends at each of those.
In each place, yeah.
In each parish. Some because I'm so far removed, they get smaller. And but each place has been very special, and it's really been an experience because it taught me different ways of ministering. You can't minister in the next parish that you did the last time, because everybody is different, and even here is different, Or of course, I'm freer here. I'm not the pastor. So I said, if you're dealing with leaky roofs, talk to Father Boland. So I don't have to worry about administration here. And that's a whole other freeing experience. Yeah. Because I can kind of do my thing.
But you haven't slowed down, it doesn't seem like to me.
As I said, I don't deal with leaky roofs.
But other than that?
Other than that, I'm not the type of person who likes to sit around. I love, part of it too is that, again, I've baptized here. I've been at the confirmations, first communions, and I've done a number of funerals. So I'm in the cycle of the parish. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorites is like just celebrating Mass with the people and then greeting them. It's always fun it's a great pleasure to kind of stand in church and say, hi, how are you, to people who are coming.
Yeah. Well, I remember during the pandemic, you had mentioned how difficult it was not seeing parishioners on a daily basis.
I think Father Jerry and I were very, we talked Easter Sunday Eve of that first year. And both of us said, we both pulled out of the garage. We both pulled into the parking lot, and there was Sister Jones and Sister Pauline's car. Ordinarily, the parking lot would have been jammed with people. It was a very sad time. But, we learned a little during that time, too, about how to minister to people in different ways. I think one of the best things was you gentlemen getting the cameras in there. So we could reach out to the parish. And that's a whole different ministry. And, Father Jerry especially got a lot of comments about how wonderful it was to keep connected to the parish even though they couldn't be here. And I think that's a different form of ministry.
Hello everyone, greetings from Athens. I'm at the foot of the Parthenon. I wanted to express my deep congratulations to my dear friend, Father Jim Barrett. Whenever I think of Father Barrett, I think of places of antiquity. Only kidding. What a blessing. On May the 12th, 1982, Father Barrett was ordained a priest. When we were at Mundelein Seminary, we became very good friends. Was very blessed to get to know his beautiful family. We've traveled all over the world. We've been a great support to one another, a blessed friendship. And what a blessing it is to have you, Jim, at OLPH. You've brought so much to the parish, and you're a joy to live with in the rectory. Nothing like having an official grandfather of the parish. Thank you, Jim. God bless you on this anniversary. Thank you for your friendship. Thanks for everything. Ad multos annos, many, many more years. Jim, you're a blessing to me and to all of us. May this anniversary be an opportunity for you to get a sense of all the lives that you have made a difference in. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Well, on that topic, how have you seen the role of the priest change over time?
I think, one of the things, the four of us would sit around at the table and talk about how are we going to continue ministering to the people when they can't be here? And I think, people came up with some creative ideas, the daily Mass.
Yeah.
The mission that we did, I think it was a big hit. And, people saying that I could not be in church, but you were there. Mm-hmm. And I think that was one of the biggest joys we had, that we could reach out. Except I got yelled at because I was never looking at the camera. I was always looking somewhere else. So, but that was the kind of stuff. So you learn to adapt. Mm-hmm. But then, like this Easter was a great joy because it was really the first Easter we were totally open. And, I had the 7:30 in the church and it was full. Mm-hmm. But the other masses were overflowing.
Yeah.
So it was great to see, and the energy. Mm-hmm. It's so good to be back. And
yeah.
And I remember the first Sunday we opened, I think it was around Palm Sunday, I forget exactly, last year. People came into church and they were crying because they hadn't been in church for a year.
Yeah. That
was quite a powerful experience. And how do we minister to people who can't be here? And I think, so, that was, it was quite a challenge, but it was, I have, part of it too, living in this rectory, we have great support. As I said, the three of them make fun of me because I'm the old man in the house. But the joy is that sitting at the table and how can we minister to the people? And that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's about being present to people at different moments in their lives.
Yeah.
And I think the pandemic taught us that we've got to really be where the people are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now you're in, the anniversary is coming up on May 21st.
Yeah, May 21st. The ordination date is May 12th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm going to be in Greece.
Oh, well, that's a good way to celebrate. I was just going to ask you, how are you celebrating the anniversary?
Well, I've had the opportunity. In fact, I'm meeting Father Poland. We are going to Greece and Turkey to follow in the footsteps of St. Paul with Father Don Sr., who is an expert biblical scholar. And one of his expertises is St. Paul. So to do a pilgrimage, being where Paul was,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be a great experience. Yeah, where he ministered.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great way to recognize your anniversary.
Yeah. So on that day, I think I'm in Istanbul on my anniversary. But that's it. So that's, the pilgrimage came up and it interfered with the anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great way to celebrate,
Yeah.
because, I have no intention of not continuing to learn.
Right.
I think that's one of the big things.
Well, is that where you see after your ordination, after the anniversary, that learning will be really kind of where your focus will be?
I've tried to continue to learn. I can't, when I retired, I took a course of St. Paul at our seminary with another scripture scholar, Father John Lodge. And it was kind of like it opens up a new way of looking at scripture.
Yeah.
And of course, part of it too is continuing to learn. Yeah. And that's very important. Of course, being a former educator,
Yeah.
I think learning is very important to me.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is because things get busy around here, I don't read as much as I'd like to. But that's more my fault than the parish's fault.
Do you have a reading list
Get a
coming
little
up?
lazy.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, what would you say to a young person considering religious life or the priesthood coming up?
It's a joy. I can say, as I said, there's been challenges. Nothing's never perfect. But I think in the last 40 years, I've really had a good life. I've never felt better. I've never been more joyful. I do miss the day-to-day teaching. I really do.
Okay.
When I go into the classrooms, and of course COVID messed that up.
Yeah.
When I can go into the classrooms, and I haven't been over as much as I would like to, things get in the way. And then at the end of the day, you figured, I meant to do something today. But I think, continuing growing in your faith. I think that's one of the reasons for me taking this journey. How can I better enhance my faith so that I can serve my people more? And I think that's important to me, to continue to grow. And I tell that to the kids. You're getting confirmed, but that doesn't mean the end of your faith development. And I say that to the 90-year-olds in church. We can still learn about our faith and who God is in our lives. And I think that's important, because sometimes we put God on the side, and we only go to God when we need God, rather than saying, yeah, walk with me. So those are the kinds of things that I kind of try to keep in mind. Yeah. So,
well, it's been a joy getting to know you over these last few years, and look forward to more. Any last words of wisdom or message for our parishioners?
First off, to the people of OLPH, thank you for welcoming with open arms. I didn't know what I was getting into. I was coming to a rectory as a resident, and there's a whole different relationship, but you welcomed me with open arms. And I really am grateful for that. And thank you for praying for me and with me.
Well, congratulations. And again, for everyone watching, May 21st, please join us. There's information in the Daily E-Blast and the Bulletin, but hopefully you'll be with us at Father Jim's anniversary.
Good. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. And if you can't be here, it's going to be live streamed, I understand. Yeah. Good, because some of my relatives have health problems, and they won't be able to be here.
Well, you'll probably have viewers from all over the world.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.